Peru is a highly popular travel destination that attracts thousands of visitors each year. So for the next month, I'm gonna be solo backpacking through that country and experience it for myself. Starting out from Lima, I'll be traveling south along the west coast to Paracas, where I'll be spending the first couple of days. From Paracas, I'll be heading inland to Huacachina, a desert oasis near the city of Ica. Then, I'll be heading further south to see the famous Nazca Lines. After that, I will leave the desert behind and travel to Arequipa. Probably gonna drop the drink. My next stop will be Puno, which is located directly at the Lake Titicaca. And finally, I'll travel to Cusco, where I have planned to do the famous Salcantay trek to Machu Picchu. At the end of my journey, I will fly back to Lima, where I'll spend my last few days in Peru before heading back home. It's 4:30 in the morning and I just boarded the bus that will take me to my next stop, Paracas. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but hopefully it's like more or less like that. And yeah, this is a really comfortable bus. It's really nice and large seats, and you probably can also tilt them back and make them into a half bed. Our guide told us that Lima was the second driest capital city in the world, which I honestly couldn't believe because the center was completely green. Now looking at this explains what he was meaning. While the humidity in Lima is high, it rains very little due to a strong atmospheric stability. On average, it receives 3 centimeters of rainfall per year. The only capital city in the world where it rains less is Cairo, with an average of 2 centimeters. We just arrived to Paracas, and I'm a bit tired from the journey since I didn't sleep much last night. Now this here is the main street of Paracas, and my hostel is actually visible right down there, and there's the beach. For the afternoon, I booked a tour going to the Paracas National Reserve.
This National Reserve has an extension of 335,000 hectares, so it's real big. Okay? 75% is sea, and the other 25% is just desert. All right?
This reserve is a protected area located in the region of Ica, aiming to preserve desert and marine ecosystems. Apparently, the red sand comes from the cliffs over there. So since this is a natural reserve, you cannot change anything. And that's also why streets here are entirely made of salt. You can actually cook your pasta with this. Hello. The next morning, I decided to go out and explore the village. First day in Paracas. I just woke up and now I'm buying some breakfast, and later I'll be going to the beach.
Ian?
Hey man.
How are you, bro?
All right.
Fine, nice to meet you.
It was warm up. This bird, looking similar to a flamingo, is a parihuana, and when it flies, you can see its white body and red wings. It is said that José de San Martín, who liberated Peru and proclaimed its independence from Spain, chose the colors of the Peruvian flag inspired by this bird. Look at this place, how nice and how beautiful, directly at the ocean. Still, no one there, and it has been that way since I started down there. So these are just luxurious houses, and they're all empty. So, back in the city, and there's actually some life here compared to those other places, those resorts, where it was just completely dead. Here at least there's some life, but there's mostly locals, and since I'm the only tourist, I've been hassled so much just to go in and have something to eat in a restaurant, and there was like 10 guys around me just telling me, come in, come in, come in. When I got back to the hostel, I met a couple of other backpackers, where we witnessed what was probably an environmental protest.
Oh, is it for the environment?
For the environment?
I think it's for the environment. We cycled past them down the road, but we thought they were all gathering. I thought it was like a party.
We spent the rest of the evening relaxing and having fun.
What's the difference between Great Britain and England?
Professor, I'm recording if you don't mind.
God, this is going to be right then.
The following day, I moved to a hostel across the street, since in the previous one there were no availabilities left. Then, I went on a boat tour to the Ballestas Islands. This was something I've been looking forward to do since I heard about it a couple of days earlier in Lima. The Ballestas Islands are nicknamed the Poor Man's Galapagos, and they're called like that for a good reason. So, I just got off the Islas Ballestas boat tour, and yeah, it was really nice. I mean, there were like millions of birds. I've never seen so many birds in my life. That evening, I met some amazing people with whom I spent the next 2 days having so much fun. We partied and drank in the evening, went out to local restaurants.
So lockdown in the elevator.
Played games and relaxed during the day. Let's see who wins the championship. Looked like a professional. So salud. Salud. And they even tried to teach me how to dance properly. Before long, my time in Paracas came to an end, which meant that I was moving on to my next stop, Huacachina. It kind of feels like a sugar explosion in my mouth.